What's good, everybody? It's your boy Anonymous, the author, aka Anonymous Rap Guy, and I am back with another Ohio BBW Network podcast interview. And today we have the awesome, the cool, the funny, and the talented Miss Gentle Giant. How are you doing today, ma'am?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Now, I addressed you by the IG name. What do you prefer to go as? Like,
You can
on
call me Jenna.
Jenna?
Jenna's
Okay.
good. Yeah,
Sounds
yeah.
like a plan. Sounds like a plan. So, thanks for networking and hooking up with us today. Got a bunch of questions. Want the fans to get to know you, so I figured we just jump right into it.
For sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, the first post that I saw on your page, on your IG page, that caught my attention was the comedy stand up that you did apparently.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that. Like, what? How long ago was that, and what made you get on stage?
I was 21 when I got on stage. So I'm 28 now, so 7 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in college.
Mm-hmm.
My best friend, people always told me I should do it.
Mm-hmm.
My best friend, when I turned 20, you can't perform until you're 21.
Okay.
For my 21st birthday, he signed me up, but they wouldn't let me go on stage unless I confirmed. And so I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I was like, fuck, I'm gonna do it. Can I curse him? I don't know if I can curse.
For sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
cool. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it.
Dope.
I had, I'm always writing jokes. I'm always writing them in my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I just was like, this is it. And I just got up on there and I loved it. And that led me into like doing MC events around my college a bit. But I never did stand up again, which I really want to do. I really would love to get up on stage. I am writing.
Dope.
I just gotta get a set together
Mm-hmm.
and find a place around here, an open mic night, and just perform again. But
Dope.
yeah,
Dope. How long was the set that you did when you got on stage?
just 5 minutes. It's just an open mic night, just like a 5 minute set.
For sure.
Um, yeah, so I really enjoy it. I love it.
So what got you into write? You say you always writing jokes. What got you into like started down the road of writing jokes?
Maybe not writing them, but I'm always in the shower coming up with,
Yeah,
or
right.
like, you have a conversation with someone and you're like,
Mm.
man, it would have been funnier if I said this, or like
Mm.
how hilarious if they had said that,
For
and
sure.
then I said this. So a lot of my stuff is just exaggerated stories of things that have happened in my life,
That's dope.
and I just. I don't know. I've ever since I was a kid, like that was the thing I loved doing, was just making people laugh. I like love to make people laugh.
For sure.
And I think comedy is an amazing art, so I enjoy it a lot.
Dope. Do you go to see like do you go to see comedy in person or you just
Yeah, I used to, then COVID happened and
yeah.
I moved out here 3 years ago. I
Mm.
was in rehab and, kind of had a career. I
Mm-hmm.
was in biotech and a stressful job. And so I haven't been to a comedy show in a long time, but I used to go like when I lived in Atlanta. I'm from Atlanta originally.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Um, I used to go out there a lot and see some shows down in Atlanta. So,
That's
yeah.
dope. What kind of comedy? If you had to say that, well, first let's start. If you had to say you were into a style of comedy, would you say you're into like physical humor? Are you into like cerebral comedy? Are you into just like situational humor? Like, what really
I
gets you
think
going?
yeah, I always say there's two kind of different styles. There's like the deadpan humor. I'm not really like people either laugh through connection or
Right.
they laugh through shock,
For
right? You're
sure.
either shocked by something
Mm.
or it's a connection. I'm
Mm.
more of a connection based comedian, I think.
For sure.
I'm not very good at the shocking jokes. I think it's more like just like storytelling and then
Mm.
putting your spin on it, and that's what I love to do.
Dude, that's really
But
good.
as far as like comedians I love to watch,
Mm.
God, so many. I think Joe Coy is a big one for me. Gabriel
Okay.
Iglesias,
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Hart. Love Key and Peele sketches.
For sure.
Bo Burnham is a good storyteller, and he does it through music. He's incredibly talented.
Mm.
Jack Whitehall, based out of UK.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love obviously.
Yeah, see, you got a whole list.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
have you ever thought of like doing any sketches, or you just like focus? Would you just want to get into stand up
I
comedy?
would do it, but I would want to do it with someone. Like just
Okay.
on my own, it's just not as funny, and it's way funnier when you have someone that you have really good comedic
Right.
banter with. My
Sure.
roommate would be great at it. I mean,
Mhm.
he's so good. We always are riffing on each other, but like he just doesn't want to get in front of the camera, so I
Oh.
can't convince him. If you help me convince him, I swear to God, the sketches will come out.
Dope, dope. I'll start DMing them. I'll start every
No,
day.
okay.
Do sketches. Yeah. So, going, I guess deeper into your, and you even touched on it, going deeper into your IG. You have listed on here that you're an orthorexia survivor. or recovery?
Yeah, so
You want to talk about that?
I'm in recovery for both orthorexia and binge eating disorder.
Mm-hmm.
I had eating disorders since I was like 8. It
Mm-hmm.
started really young for me.
Mm-hmm.
Orthorexia is more, it's not obsessive about weight per se, like anorexia would be or bulimia,
Mm-hmm.
more with health. So I was convinced when I moved out here, after grad school, I took a break for a year, and I was convinced. I mean, and I was a cancer researcher, so the irony is not lost on me that I was convinced I had cancer.
Oh my goodness.
Like real crazy. Like
I mean, that's deep.
I like lost my mind. Yeah, for sure. And I was just like convinced I was gonna cure it myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I started going on autoimmune protocols, and like I have autoimmune issues too, and convinced that food was the answer, and that I just had to eat a certain way, and I cut out a bunch of stuff, and I created a real fear of food, and then that ties into like my weight and like things like that. So yeah, I did that for about a year, dropped a ton of weight, got doctors were like so happy, but I was miserable and scared all the time and anxious, and I wouldn't leave my house. And
Wow.
I had a few invasive procedures just to check things out. Like it was a lot. It was a lot.
Sounds scary.
Yeah, it was scary. It was for sure. But I don't know. I got a job, and then the next day I like stopped freaking out about it. It was really weird. It was really just like that. Yeah, it was really weird. It's like my mind just needs something to focus on, and if I'm not working or doing something, it will focus on something that's not. Yeah.
So you stopped doing the cancer research job and went into another field, or you just did the same?
So I moved into I took a year off after grad school. So I was a cancer researcher. I got my graduate degree in tissue engineering, and then I decided I was just really sick after grad school because it just takes a lot out of you.
For sure.
I was like, I'm going to take a year off, and then I moved my best friend out to California. But during that year off, I just had like a lot of time on my hands. I tried to volunteer. I tried to do things like that just to keep my mind off of things, but I just had way too much time on my hands.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so it just was just my mind, and I had a scare. What happened was when I saw a doctor, and I had a swollen lymph node, and they were concerned it was lymphoma, and then so that led me down to this idea, and they couldn't figure out what it was and what was happening. So that's what's kind of sparked the whole. Now oh my God, I have cancer somewhere, and they can't figure it out, and I would be watching like, I mean. Yeah,
you were obsessive. You were really like going down a rabbit hole. I
was on Reddit page. Like, I mean, really batshit crazy. Like, I should have been in the nut house, like for real. So that's kind of how it happened. And it was like as soon as I got a job, my mind had something else to focus on, and I was like, oh, I'm fine.
And you've just been great since that moment. Like after you started the new job, you've just been smooth sailing.
Oh, absolutely not. Like, I was still messed up after that. But what ended up happening is I got triggered by a doctor's appointment. I had lost a bunch of weight. And for something that I had been telling my doctor that I wanted to get treated for something. And she just thought it was my weight was the problem. And so when I started dropping weight and it was still a problem, she finally listened to me and like gave me the medication that I wanted. And I think I just got pissed off, and then it triggered, and I went back into my binge eating disorder. But this time it was really bad because I'd been restricting for so long that when I went into the binge eating disorder, it was like really, really bad. So I was working, stressed out. I'd come home, I'd engage in behaviors, and I just like I couldn't focus on anything. Like I was obsessed with food, like absolutely obsessed with it. And so that's when I was like, okay, like I really hit a rock bottom moment, and I was like, I think there's something wrong. And I, when I was like, crying in the bathroom with a bunch of Taco Bell, and my roommate come home, was like, yeah, I think I have a problem.
Wow.
I think I need to go get help. So I went and got help. I decided to get help. I tried to work and go to rehab at the same time. That wasn't working. I needed more help than I realized, and then went on medical leave. And then I kind of ended up not leaving rehab for a year and a half. It was only supposed to be a couple months, but the more we dug, the more we realized there were some really deep issues. So,
For sure.
yeah.
First of all, you are super strong for coming on here and laying all that out on the line, dude. That's really, thank you for
Absolutely. Yeah.
talking
You know
about
what?
it.
I think awareness is really important, and I was
Mm,
ashamed of it for so long.
mm,
I I just don't want. I don't know. I think if we talk about it, maybe people won't be so scared
for sure.
and understand that it happens. And I think it's underdiagnosed in people with big bodies. Eating disorders are underdiagnosed because doctors will just tell you you just need another diet.
Right.
And sometimes that's literally the opposite of what people need.
What you need, yeah.
So I think there's not a lot of education on eating disorders in big bodies because one of the biggest ways we measure it is with weight loss. And sometimes eating disorders don't affect your weight.
Right.
And so I think people need to talk about it because there's not any there were no resources for me. I was like one of the only big people in my rehab center because they don't send people like me to rehab.
Right.
And so the one thing that got me through was I couldn't find anyone to turn to. And even my therapists were like, I wish I could give you someone. And I said, okay, then I'm gonna have to be the person because I don't ever want anyone to go through feeling that alone.
For sure.
Like I did. So yeah.
For sure. That's awesome. God, I want to give you a little a little hand. That's
Thank you.
No, it's awesome that you can talk and laugh about it. That's like spectacular. Sure. I see that sense of humor. Definitely, I see you use it in different ways. That's fantastic. Second of all, congratulations for doing graduate school, like surviving through.
Oh, thank you.
That is hell right there. So
yes,
that's
it was hell.
Believe me,
it was.
I would. Bachelor's was enough for me to say no. I'm out. So wow, that's a super accomplishment. What so when you went to rehab, are you still continuing therapy, or do you feel like?
For sure, yeah. I've got a whole outpatient team. I've got a dietitian. I got my doctor. I've got 2 therapists. I've got a psychiatrist. Like I've got, awesome. I'm still heavily and I'm just not I don't need the facility anymore. So I'm doing much better now. But yeah, awesome. Still getting help.
That's the continued wellness, mental wellness.
Exactly.
That's absolutely fantastic. Wow, that got really deep, man. Thanks. I know I keep saying it, but thanks for sharing.
Absolutely.
To continue the interview, I mean, is there anything you want to say to people watching, to fans out there, to potential people who are interested in your story? Would you like to?
Yeah, you can always reach out to me. Follow my page. I'm going to be coming out with a podcast to hopefully talk about these and educate with these topics. The first 3 episodes.
Go ahead. Yeah, that was the next topic.
The first 3 episodes were going to be kind of my story and how I got my eating disorders and how I got diagnosed and kind of that. And then after that, I'm going to have guest speakers, dietitians, people who are in the fat community, who have had eating disorders. We're going to talk about weight loss surgery, BMI, why that's bullshit, why different diets and how those affect your body and how those affect your mental health, and different therapists come on. That's kind of my goal, is to bring eating disorder education to fat people.
Awesome.
and understand that stuff, so, and hopefully make you laugh a little bit along the way. I'm still trying to figure out how to do that, but yeah.
I got you. You start writing a set. That's how I've been working out jokes. I do stand up sometimes as well, and definitely talking to people. Yeah, talking to people. I'm like, oh, that is a good joke. Let me scribble that down. I'll work that into a bit later. So yeah,
for sure. My biggest thing is how do I make rehab funny, right? Like how can I make that funny? And I feel like for me, that's like the epitome. If I can make that funny, I'm set. I can make everything else in my life funny, but I still have a hard time making eating disorder stuff funny. But yeah, that's what I'm working on.
I got you. My thing is always characters. If you can characterize people there, just say the stuff, that's always a building block for me. Like, oh, this dude, blah blah blah.
For sure, I get that. Where do you perform around? Oh wait,
very rarely.
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, we're not even in the same city. Yeah. When you were like, you told me the time we were linking up, and you were like Pacific time. I was like, okay, she's not even near me. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How is it out in Texas? Is it still is it extremely expensive to live?
Oh my God, yeah. It's awful.
Rent is crazy.
It's really awful. Yeah, I want to get out. If I'm being honest with you, it's like I just. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Have you always lived there? Have you always been in California?
I moved here 3 years ago.
Okay. Oh yeah, you did
Yeah,
say
yeah.
that.
I'm from Atlanta originally.
Yeah, that's what
I
you
grew
did
up
say.
in Georgia. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. What made you go out there for school? No, because that was 7 years ago.
Yeah, so I my best friend got a job out here, and it's biotech mecca out
Mm.
here basically,
Okay.
and I'm in biotech,
Mm.
so I was like, that's a good move, and I really don't want to go home, so you got room for one more.
Right. I got you.
And, yeah, so I literally packed up my shit and moved out here. That's what I
Okay.
did.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
ballsy.
yeah,
All right.
yeah, yeah. It was, and it's been a struggle ever since.
I believe it. I believe it. Do you make friends pretty quick? Like, did you pretty much come together with a new group
It's
of
hard.
friends?
So this is what's hard, right? I made tons of rehab friends, but like
Mm-hmm.
you leave us in rehab.
Mm-hmm.
My first year here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I made some friends in volunteer work, but then COVID hit,
Yeah.
and then I went to rehab for a year and a half.
Oh
So
wow.
like I had no opportunity to meet people. So I'm trying to do that now. It's
Okay.
like meet people, make friends.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I get along with most people.
Okay. How do you
Yeah.
make friends as an adult man? I need to know, how does one make friends?
Oh man, that's a great question. If you ever find out, you let me know.
I got you.
I think for me,
Mm.
you know what it is I thought if I started doing volunteer work and getting involved in things, I'd make friends. I want to make work friends, but here's the thing: is I'm so terrified if I make a friend at work and then maybe I say a joke that's gonna piss them off, and now I gotta see that person every day when I go to work.
Right.
If I make a friend outside of work and I piss them off, I never have to see them again.
Right. Deuces.
You know?
Never have to talk.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, you love them from a distance, and I just like I don't know. That's my biggest concern about work friends or like meeting people outside
Right.
of work. It's like if it doesn't work out.
No, I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you. I was in Walgreens the other day and they were selling these little anime keychains. And I saw this guy pick one up and I was like, I want to say something to him to make a friend, but I couldn't bring myself to it. I was like, I just turned around and paid for my
I
stuff.
know, and you know what? COVID has made us so, I don't know, I feel like it's so, as soon as COVID was over and I like walked outside for the first time, I was like, how do you talk to people?
Right,
I like
right.
completely forgot social norms.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't even know how to talk to anyone anymore. So that's a big thing that I'm working on too.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, bonding through trauma. We got this.
Exactly. That's right. That's the only way to bond, in my opinion.
For sure. So I have to ask, looking at your IG page, it's like you were just starting to like post on IG. Did you have another page and it got deleted, or you just like dabbling
I
in
was off
social media?
social media. Yeah, I was off social media for 6 years. Yeah, I refused. I was like, I was a big like, I don't want to be part of that. And I guess I was like, I guess I'm over it.
You just woke up one day and was like, all right, I think I'm going back.
Let's do this. Well, I figured like that's the only way you like to connect with people, you know, find people who are in the similar, if I wanted to connect with other people who had potential binge eating disorder or orthorexia or in fat bodies, I was like, how the fuck do I do that? How am I going to advertise? Even if I want to do a podcast, how am I going to do that? And the biggest way to do that is through social media.
For sure.
So I was like, let me just start with Instagram and we'll do that.
Right.
So I've started with that, and then it's opened up doors for me.
Awesome.
And I was like, oh, I see the potential in it now.
Sure.
I get it. But I also know, like, I don't trust myself. I get addicted to it. You know, when I get a TikTok, that's my life now. TikTok is my life. I will not do anything else. And I did. I re-downloaded TikTok, and guess what I do most of the time? I'll be up at a coffee shop, supposed to be doing work. Half of the time I spent on TikTok. I just can't. I have no self-control. See this exactly? Like, I went to rehab for this problem.
Right.
Like, I have no self-control.
Oh,
so that's why I was like, oh, I can't do social media, but I'm trying. You know, I literally got a locker for my phone. That's how bad it is.
Wow.
Like, I literally lock my phone and thing, and it doesn't let me out. Let me have my phone until time has passed, and that's how I focus.
Wow, hey, that's pretty good. You got to use tools. Hey, go ahead.
Exactly.
Jeez. So you have a TikTok currently?
I do have a TikTok.
Oh,
yeah,
I have to follow you on there. I'm sure that's not.
It's about this video is about my cat.
Oh,
like,
gotcha. Dude, that's fine. I love cats. I don't know what my Tilly is, but I love cats, dude.
I'm obsessed with my cat. So
I gotcha.
yeah.
So with your platform and the way that you're headed, is there anything that where you want to be in 5, 10 years? Like you're getting a podcast started, you're going to be talking to doctors and promoting awareness. Do you want to eventually do public speaking, or like where would you want to be in 5, 10 years down the road?
That is a wonderful question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. To be
Okay.
honest with you, I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm getting, I'm job searching now. I with my time off, I was in rehab.
Mm-hmm.
I got certifications in data analytics. I'm still a science nerd at heart, so I still love science. Awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still love science. I still love data. I still love engineering. Mm-hmm. So I'm doing that, and then I'm also doing this. Mm-hmm. And I'd love to get back on stage soon and do comedy. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know. I really just wanted to help people. That's why I started my Instagram platform. Mm-hmm. I'm afraid it's going to turn into something else sometimes, or that I'll get caught up in it. Mm-hmm. That's one big fear of mine. Mm-hmm. But that's really, really why I started. That's why I got back on it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. Just start the journey and see where it goes.
I'm open to wherever it goes. Okay. And right now I'm still trying to reach the audience that I want to reach, and once we get there, then we'll take it from there and see what the community needs. I really just want to know what people need in my community that I can help them with. Mm-hmm. And also I want to make jokes and make people laugh, and that's it. That's all I want.
That's all.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's a really powerful vision. That's awesome. Yeah. How long have you been known that you've been into science? Like that's she's super intelligent. You're a gorgeous woman. You seem like you're checking every box. What made you get into engineering is a very specific field.
Chose it on a whim.
Oh, really? Okay.
I did. Well, I've always loved science. I wanted to be a scientist since I was a kid.
Was there something you saw, or your parents, or what made you get into science specifically?
Actually, I didn't even know. This is what pissed me off. I didn't know my dad was an engineer. He was in college to be an engineer. He had to drop out to support his family back home, but he never told me he was a bioengineer, and that's what he was studying. So I literally had no outside influence. I watched Discovery Channel a lot as a kid. I wanted to be a marine biologist. Thought narwhals were the shit, and it's just always been my path. That was I loved making people laugh, and I loved science. I loved Carl Sagan, loved Neil deGrasse Tyson, loved the cosmos. I've always been so into that. Right. And I wanted to get out of my house, and I didn't think comedy was going to get me there. Right. So I was blessed to love two things, and one of those I knew was going to make me money.
Yes.
And
that's always good.
Yeah. I chose it. I was going, when you have to pick a major when you're applying for college, I saw bioengineering. I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And I picked it, and then I just stuck with it.
Damn, go ahead. I tried mechanical engineering, dropped out the first day. I was like, yep, this is way too much for me. So shouts out to you.
It's not for everyone. Yeah.
Dude, you've got a math brain to not only get a bachelor's in that, but to go through and get a graduate's degree in that base field. Touche. Damn. All right. So yeah, I'm sorry. This is the next question that I have for you, because this is about comedy specifically and stand-ups. Do you find it easy to hit stand-up mics over in California? Where would you have to go to be like, hey, I want to do 5 minutes here or there? Because a lot of these places I hear heavyweights go there, and they're always, you got to audition or they're booked or something.
Yeah, I only have one reel, so I can't really audition for a lot of those places. I've been looking into it. Sacramento, I think, is where I can get into an open mic night. Okay. But yeah, a lot of the places in San Francisco are gonna be heavy hitters. Right. You have to audition. You have to have tapes already to send in.
Right.
So yeah, I don't have enough yet.
Okay. No, I got you.
Yeah.
What's your writing process like? Because I'm fixated on the comedy thing now, because I do like
go for it. Yeah, we can talk about
brains.
Yeah, absolutely. We can talk about comedy.
What's your process like?
Most of my jokes, I stay up way too late
Mm-hmm.
because I'm so creative at night.
Right.
When everyone's quiet.
Mm-hmm.
I make up a lot of jokes in the shower. I really do. I wish that wasn't the case. I wish I could tell you like, oh, I like sit and like light a candle.
Right. Right.
Just
sit
like
in the corner of a dark room when it comes to you.
Brilliance comes to me, and I just genius happens. I come up with them in the shower, or sometimes it's good to be surrounded by funny people. I notice I can't come up with jokes unless I'm around like people who I get along with, and I come up with funny jokes and we like build off of each other, and I'm like, oh, that's a set right there. Or sometimes I'll even tell I have friends who, God, they should be comedians. They're so funny.
Right.
Genius level stuff that I could never come up with in 1,000 years, that will be like, no, I don't want to do that, but I'll ghostwrite for you. So sometimes I'll just like perform other people's jokes.
Okay.
Not often.
Yeah.
Most of my stuff comes from me.
Mm-hmm.
Just like thinking about, I grew up, that's how my family sort of like home life was rough. And like that's how my family, my mom and my brother and I, like that's how we joked, like that's how we got through stuff.
Right.
Like that my stuff, tragedy is comedy. For right, sure. Like that's so most of my stuff is just like life is shit, but it's so funny. Right. You know. Sure. And that's how I come up with stuff, you know. Yeah, like I always think about like, if I just don't have the motivation to follow through on things, and that's why like I end up like writing jokes and then just never performing them, you know. And so I come up with so much stuff and then I just don't say it. Now I'm just trying to like
get it out there.
Yeah, just get it out there. Like just say it. If it hits, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And sometimes I'll perform something and like a friend of mine will be like, it would have been funnier. One of my best jokes that I ever performed, it was the 50%, I'm like 50% Palestinian Arab, 50% normal. I used to say 50% Palestinian Arab, 50% white. But my mom said, nah, you should say normal. And my mom came up with that joke, right? Because my mom...
That's pretty good, yeah.
Like my mom is the one who kind of wrote that for me. So I just start saying stuff, and then people kind of help me tune it.
Right.
And like hit what's funny, what's hitting, what's not.
Yeah, that's the process. Punching up, they call it like punching up jokes. Like when you have somebody who can say, "Hey, cut that out, add this." Like that's, you got a little writing team in your corner. That's awesome.
I do. I have amazing support, and I'm lucky that I'm not afraid to embarrass myself. For sure. Like that's something my mom really instilled in me, because nobody embarrasses me like my mom used to. And so I just have no shame. Like I'm cool. Like if you don't laugh, that's fine.
For sure.
I tried.
Yeah. That was my second experience. I bombed like going on stage. So that's always fun when people are just looking at you like, I'm like, all right, well, still got 3 more minutes of me up here, guys.
Yeah. It's gonna be tough for both of us.
Right.
Make it at least easier on one of us. Yeah. So, no, I think bombing is a rite of passage.
Oh yeah, right? Absolutely.
It's the rite of passage.
Oh yeah.
So
absolutely. So I mean, we're not gonna be on here for too much longer. But I do appreciate you stopping by once again. This was a really fun, interesting interview. Like I said, the comedy definitely piqued my mind, but it's awesome to hear that you are such a layered person. Like you were very, very interesting. So definitely would love to have you come back on here again, dude. That was
absolutely anytime. I'm so down to talk. I had a ton of fun.
For sure.
Yeah, it's fun.
So before we get on off here, I do have to play a game with you. Well, really just a 3 questions game that I have for you. So just to get to know who you are, what are your top 3 favorite music artists right now?
Teddy Swims.
Okay.
Alan Stone.
Okay.
Yeba.
Okay. Top 3 favorite movies right now.
Oh, that's so hard.
Oh yeah, we coming with it.
Shit, trying to take this test.
Pop quiz.
Yeah, pop quiz and study.
It can be movies or series right now that you're into.
Okay, so let's do series because that's better. I'm currently there's this show called C on Apple TV. Love that show. I'm really into this is gonna be so embarrassing. It's the new Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, Yes, I know what you're talking about, but I don't
The
know the name
dragon
of it.
something.
House of Dragons? Is it House of
House
Dragons?
of Dragons, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then I've just started watching Breaking Bad, so I've been into that.
Dude, I still haven't watched it, so you're ahead of me in
You
that one.
haven't watched it? Oh,
No,
it's
not at
so
all.
good.
I haven't watched Game of
It's
Thrones though either, so they're gonna kill me for that as
oh
well.
my god! Don't say that. That's blasphemy.
Right. Oh man. So let me see. Yeah, we are right at the 30-minute mark. So that will be it. We're gonna sign off for today. Want to thank you, Miss
Thanks for
Jenna.
having me.
Thank you, Miss Jenna, aka the Gentle Giant, for joining us today. I will have all of her social media links down in the description if you want to follow her, check her out, and support her. She has been on a meteoric rise. When I first added you and started, you had 800 followers. You're now up to over 1,000. So yeah, keep that energy going and keep growing. And I wish nothing but the best of luck to you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. I'd love to come back.
For sure. We'll talk to you next time, and y'all be safe out there. Love, peace, and chicken grease. We're out. Peace.